Alright, in this video I'm going to be making the Microsoft 365 logo inside of Inkscape. And this right here is a reference image for the colors of the logo. For now I'm just going to move it away from our workspace. Alright, so to begin I'm going to click right here on the polygons tool and I'm going to select 6 corners. I'll make the rounded value 0 and I'll make the randomized value 0 as well. And I'll select the polygons option. Hold Ctrl and Shift on the keyboard and I'll make a perfectly symmetrical polygon like that. And I'll give that a fill color that is dark, like black is good. And then with that selected, come over to the Path Effects menu. If you can't find it, come over to Path and then click on Path Effects. That will open up the Path Effects menu, and then right here from the drop down you want to select corners. And then right here you want to change the radius value to a value of about 300 to 400. And that might be too much, so let's go with a value of 350. Or let's go with like 370. That right there looks pretty good. So with that selected, come over to Path, click on Object to Path, and that will finalize the path effect. And then I'm going to click right here on the Polygons tool one more time, and I'm going to make a polygon with the same settings. Let me give that a different fill color. And I want it a little bit bigger than the original object. So I'm just going to select them both by shift clicking, and then I'll come over to the Align and Distribute menu and I'll center them on the vertical and horizontal axis like that. I'll press B to get the Bezier pen and I'll snap to that corner, and then I'll snap to that corner, click right there to make that straight line, and I'll just snap to these corners and form that shape right there. Let's give that a different fill color, like something like that. And I want to do one more time, that exact same thing one more time, but with these corners this time. So right there, and then click right there, right there, right there, and then join it right there. And again with that selected, hold shift, click right there, with them both selected, come over to Path, and then do a difference. Then press Ctrl D and duplicate this object. Flip it on the horizontal axis, snap it right there, and then hold shift, select both of these, press Ctrl D and duplicate them, come over to Path, click on Union to unionize them. With that selected, hold shift, click on the purple object, do a path and difference, and that will divide all of that shape into 3 equal parts. The next thing I want to do is I want to just hold Alt, click again to select the bottom object, raise that to the top, and then I want to make 1 and 2 more copies of this object. And then I'll click right there, select that object, hold shift, click on one of these, and then come over to Path and do an intersection, and I'll repeat that for the other 2 as well. So let me just do that, and hold shift, select them both, Path and intersection. And that will divide that polygon, that initial object, into 3 equal parts, and the corners are smooth as well. So that's basically the whole point of doing all of that. The next thing we want to do is come back over to the polygons tool and make another polygon with the same settings, but make this way smaller. So we need this to be much smaller. That size is pretty good. And I'm just going to select all of these objects, all 3 of these, press Ctrl G, duplicate them, hold shift, click on this object, center them on the vertical as well as the horizontal axis. And what I'll do is I'll come over to Path, click on Object to Path, and that right there is necessary, by the way. We must make this, we have to make sure that we turn this into a path first before we apply the path effect to it. So I'll come over and apply the corners path effect to it, and I'll make sure I'll select this option, change only selected nodes. I'll press N to get the nodes tool. I'll click on that node right there, hold shift, select the diamond shape node, and I'll hold shift, select that node as well. So all 3 of these nodes. And I'll leave the remaining 3 nodes unselected. And then with them selected, I'll come over to the radius option, the radius value. Let's give that the same radius, so a radius of 370. And that right there is what I'm looking for. So with that selected, come over to Path, click on Object to Path, and that will finalize that shape into a path like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll just zoom in a little bit. I'll press B to get the Bezier pen. And you can see we have these 2 cusp nodes right here, or these 2 cusp nodes right here. I'm going to just snap right here to this node, And then I'll come right here all the way down, snap to this node or this point, and then snap right here, and then hold Control, lock it onto the horizontal to the vertical axis, I mean, and then click right there, somewhere right there is fine, and then just click right there and join it like that. And let's give that a different fill color, something like that. I'll press M to get the nodes tool, and I'll just pull this line out like that. And I'll select this node, and I'll click on this handle and lock it onto the horizontal axis. And I'll select this handle and lock it onto the vertical axis. I'll select this node and I'll hold Control, drag this on the vertical axis about that much. And I'm just going to take this handle, move it out on the horizontal axis like that, but not too much. Let me zoom in, make sure that's covering up the blue object. It is. And so we can actually move it in a little bit. That's not enough. Let's just go right there. Right there is pretty good. A little bit more. Okay, right there I'm pretty happy with that. And then what I want to do next is I'll click on this object right here. I'll press Ctrl D and duplicate that. And I'll hold Shift, click on this new object, and then come out to Path, click on Difference. And then with this result that we got, this object, I'll press Ctrl D once and twice to make 2 more copies of this object. And then I'll select this object, hold Shift, click on this one. And actually you have to first ungroup everything, so I'll press Ctrl Shift and G, ungroup everything. And then I'll click right there, select that object, hold Shift, click on that object, do a path and difference. I'll select that object, hold Shift, click right there, do a path and union. And I'll click right there and remove this object, move it out of the way like that. The next thing I want to do is, I'm just going to select this center object, press Ctrl D once, twice, and I'll just make many copies of this object. And then with that selected, hold Shift, click on any of these objects, do a path and difference, and I'll just repeat that process for the other two as well. And then what you could do next is just select over all of these center objects, however many copies you have, move them out the way. And we're almost done with our object. I'm just going to click on this blue object, just give that a different fill color, something like that. I'll press Ctrl D and duplicate that, click again to get the rotation handles and rotate that until I match the orientation of the pink object. And I'm just going to place it right there, and let's change the fill color to something like that. And one last step I want to do before I finalize this, I'm just going to click on the red object, press Ctrl D and duplicate that, and then rotate that while holding Ctrl and match it to the orientation of the blue object. And then just take that object, place it, let me zoom in, and place it right there, snap it right there. And then what you want to do is you want to duplicate this object, press Ctrl D, let's give that a different fill color, something like blue would be fine. And then hold Shift, select the red object, do a path and difference, and then you'll have this object left. We can change the color to something like that. So the overall shape of the logo is done. Let me raise that object to the top, and let me raise this red object all the way to the top as well. So the shape of the logo is done. Let me just click right there on the blue object, hold Alt to select the bottom object and delete that. Click on the red object, hold Alt, click on the bottom object, delete that. And right here, I think we don't really have anything else. So the shape of the logo is done. We just have to now give it the correct colors. To do that, I'm just going to bring in the reference image. I'm just going to use the dropper tool to get the colors from this logo right here, from this image. So just click right here on this object. I'll come over to the fill and stroke menu, give that a linear gradient. I'll press G to get the gradient tool. I'll take this top, place it right there, somewhere there. And I'll take this top and place it somewhere right there. Make sure snapping is turned off though. I'll select this top, press D to get the gradient tool, and then give it that dark color. Press G again, click right there, and give it that light color. And I'll repeat that process for these two as well. And so with that done, our logo is complete. This right here is the SVG, and this is the image right here. I mean, it doesn't look the exact same thing, but it's close enough. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, you may also enjoy one of these.